Okay, thank you once again for joining this fourth section of Microsoft Power BI Data Analytics Masterclass. We are so grateful. Okay, so the last section we had, we worked on one HR data set, and we still do the same thing today, right? Because quite a number of people had to, you know, because of work and all that, had to leave the last section on time. So we'll run through it again, but now at a faster pace. You discover I did not upload the last section on our e-portal. So we'll just subsume everything here and now, and then we'll upload everything once and for all. Okay, so welcome once again. All right, so we'll just run through this. Our scoreboard, as you know, I think I posted it on our WhatsApp group and Telegram the last time. Isola is still leading the class with Samuel A and Muyiwa. Um, the first three to join the class today already had 3 marks, as the two Professor Pauls and Mrs. Bisola once again. So we'll just quickly treat this and then we'll move to what we have for today. But before doing that, what we are today is the Microsoft Power BI. Focus for the day. We import data from cargo.com, we extract it, then we'll go and play around our Microsoft Power BI. What's it called now? Microsoft Power Query, where we transform our data, we assess the data quality before we engage this our wireframe. You know, we looked at this wireframe the last time. That's the wireframe is more like our architectural design for the building, right? So what we are building now is not story building, it's not a duplex. What we are building is a report. We are bringing visuals together on our canvas. So we are bringing the visuals together on our canvas, and we need an architectural design. So a very good way and professional way to come up with your visual is to have a wireframe at the back of your mind even before doing that, right? So um, this wireframe will actually help us. By the time we are done cleaning our data set and then want to start building our dashboard, it won't be a problem again because we already have a plan, an architectural design in mind. Okay, so on this note, I'll hand over to Wanda to share his screen, and then we'll continue from there. Thank you. But if you have any question about the last class, you can just reserve that till the next 30 minutes when we'll have a break. That break is just to take our first brain teaser as well as our questions. Take our questions. Thank you. Yeah, over to you, Wanda.
All right. All right. So, in the last class, this was what we did in the last class, where we had to get the total employees, active employees, attrition, the attrition rates, average age of the employees, job roles, and the total monthly income. So I will just quickly walk through this whole process just within few minutes, so that every one of us can be at the same pace. I would be a little bit fast, and I would also try to see how to carry everyone along. All right, just to recapitulate on the data sets we're working on the other time, working with, working on employee attrition data sets gotten from cargo.com. And we actually check if the data set is not cleaned, or if it is cleaned. So we realize that our data set is clean. So we just go to load and apply straight. So the next thing we also did was to take out time to study these data sets. What are the possible things we can draw out from our data sets, such as the average age, the attrition. And I remember the other time I said attrition, yes, means that that particular employee has left the company, while attrition, no, means that he's still working. And I also said that employee count is just telling us the value of each of these employee. Count one means that whether this employee has left or is still working at a particular time he was employed in this company. So because he was employed, whether he's still active or no more working, there's a count of 1. So to get the total number of employees, we just have to sum the count, the employee count. We're using the sum dash function. Then we also checked for coming back to this place, our visual. We also checked for the average age and the job roles. How many job roles do we have? And what is the total monthly income? So I'll just quickly do this in this page 2, just for us to have a quick overview of how I got some of these values. Then we kick up with the rest of our chart. All right, now the first thing we did was to import the wireframe, which is this. And just a quick one, how did we import, right? So to import your wireframe, you just go to this canvas background and you choose an image. So I've chosen the image already. Then you set transparency to 0. So setting transparency to 0 would enable you to see your wireframe. Now, if I take it to 100, you will notice that it's showing blank. So you might be thinking it's not imported, but it's good you always import and set your transparency to what? To 0, so that you can see what you have imported. All right, so now let's quickly get all these values we have in our page 1, the total employees. So to get the total employees from our employee count, which I said that they were employed, whether they've left or they are still active. So how do we get the total employee? Now, there is something called dash, right? And I remember the last class I explained what dash is. That dash means data analysis expression. It's just using functions, Power BI defined functions to carry out quick calculation on your data set. And I remembered we did a couple of functions the other time, but I will just quickly go back in just an overview of what we did in the last class. So now, to check the total number of employees, we're going to be using a function called sum of our employee count. So I'm going to create a measure now. So measure is just a way of creating calculations for your data sets, right? So I'm just going to click here. So once you click here, you will see options like create new measure, quick measured, new column, and new table. So we can just create measure from here, or you can right click and you can just create measure. That's the two ways of creating measures. So I'm going to create a new measure now, and I'm going to call it total employee. I already have a field I've used before, but I'll just give it a different name. So to rename to create a name, you just change this measure to your own name. I can just say total employee. So count of total sum of employees. I'm going to use the sum function, sum. So the sum function is used to add all the numbers in a column. So what I would just do, I would just go to employee count, click on employee count. So once I do that, I would just press enter. So that would calculate the total number of employees I have. So once you do that, it will reflect in your data set here. So look at what we just did. Count of total employees, right? So I'll just create a card. Now, the other time, I think our last 2 class or so, um, we talked about card, right? Just create like KPIs, just a value, just to create, just to show a value. So I'm going to create a card now, and in this my card, what I just want is total employee. So I'm going to click on total employee, right? Why is this thing not clicking? Just a moment. Why is this thing not clicking? Um, Sorry, please. Let me just don't know why. Well, let me just probably drag it also. Let me drag it here. All right. So you can either click or probably drag it to this place, then it will still reflect. So what I have here is 1470, right? Now, but normally we're supposed to present this in a proper number format, right? There's supposed to be a comma, that's 1470. So I'll just click on this comma here so I can have it in this form, 1470 employee. But I don't want this thing showing here, the name of the field. So what I will just do is that I will just come to format your visual, this place, format your visual. Then once I go to format your visual, then you could see a category label. That's what is showing here. So I'm just going to uncheck it. So once I do that, it's gone, right? Yeah, it's gone. Then the next I'm going to do um, is to go to my general. Now, because of the wireframe, right? The wireframe, you could see it already have a blue color. So that means the kind of text color that can fit into this blue is white. So I'm going to change this my text color to white. But before I do that, I'll need to take off this white background. How do I take it off? Now we have properties, we have title, we have effect. So the effect is what gives this white background. So I'm going to go to effects. Then I would uncheck the background. So once I uncheck the background, the white display is gone. So I'm going to change my text color to white. Just go to my I will now go back to my visual, go to visual, then you will see call out value. Then you change your call out value from this color black to a color white. So once you do that, we have the white color. But I need to add my title, right? I'll go back to my general, go to title. First, you need to on your title. Then you type what you want to type. Total employees, right? Total employees. So I'm going to just take this to the center, then change the color. So to change the color, just go to text color, then choose a white color, then centralize it to the center. Click this. We have it at the center. You can increase the size if you want, or you can leave it like that. So this is how to increase or reduce. So I will just shape this to fit in my card. All right, so this is it. I want to reduce the size of this 1470. It's too big. I can reduce the size. So let me just go back to my visual, call out value, then I'll reduce the size to something better to view. All right, so I've done this total employees. So this is total number of employees that we have in our data set is 1,470. All right, I just want to confirm if we understand what I just did. Did we are we following? Are we following, please?
Yes.
All right, thank you so much. So now, for the next one, we have active employee, attrition, attrition rates, average age, job roles, and total monthly income, right? So all of these are what we want to calculate. So let's quickly go to the active employee. Now, there was something I explained the other time, right? Now let's go to our data set. So in this our data set, you will see something, attrition, no, and yes, right? Now, so this is just the idea of our data set. So now, just I want to quickly explain something so that we understand. So I'm in another view now. So now in this place, this is where I'm going to be doing some of my explanation like in notes. So my attrition years and my attrition no, right? Now, yes means that this guy has left the company, right? He has left the company. And why no means that this guy is still working. So he's still working. So either he has left or he's still working, right? Yes. So now I'm going to replace all the yes because I cannot calculate, I cannot sum yes, right? And I cannot sum no because these are text value, right? They are categorical value, yes or no. So what I will do is to convert this to a numerical value, like number that I can easily sum. So I'm going to convert all my yes to 1, and I'll convert all my no to 0 using what is called a conditional column, right? Now, a conditional column is just like a column from another column, like referenced from another column. Just like, let's say we have a column called gender, right? Gender, for example. So we have gender male, and we have gender female, right? Now, I want to just abbreviate this gender to just pick M and F. I can just say, okay, create a new column. Let's say gender class, gender class. So if this guy is male, just give me M. And if this guy is female, just give me F. So that gender class is a reference to this column called gender. That is what I will still use in this place. All right, so let us just dive into um, the next the next um the next line of action. All right, just let me know if you want me to recapitulate on any concept. I'll quickly do that. All right, so let me know if you can see my Power BI screen. I'm back to my Power BI. Can you see my screen? All right, thank you so much.
Yes.
So this is my Power BI screen. So I want to convert all the attrition no to 0 and all the attrition yes to 1. So I can easily calculate my attrition count, right? So to do that, I'll go back to of course, I cannot easily do that in this place. Of course, I can do it. It's possible to do it, but I'm going to be using another kind of function, dash function. And that one is a little bit complex to the normal sum and count. It is called calculate, but I don't want to go to that function now. When we get to some advanced aspect, I'll be using more of that function. So let me just do the normal easy step. So that is the use of the conditional column. So I will just need to go back to I can't do it here. I'll go to my Power Query. And to open up Power Query, you just go to transform data, click on transform data, and it will take you back to your Power Query editor. It will take you back to your Power Query editor. So so it will take you back to your Power Query editor. So all right, so this is my Power Query editor, right? This is my Power Query editor. So now what do I want to do here? I want to create a new column, right? But this new column is created in reference to the attrition column, this attrition column. So what I will just do is to go to add column. Then in this add column, you will see a place called conditional column. So I'm going to click on conditional column. Then when I click on conditional column, it would open up a dialog box for me, right? This is a dialog box. So I just want to know if you can see that dialog box that is being that is showing.
No, we can't see it.
No, I can't see.
Okay. All right. So let me just see. Just a moment. So what about now? Can you see it now?
Yeah, makes sense.
All right. So this is the dialog box, right? So this dialog box is a pop-up of that conditional column that I clicked. So I'm going to give it a name. I'm going to call it attrition count. Or I can just say count, any name, count of attrition. I can say count of attrition. So this count of attrition is going to, I said in reference to a new column, right? So I'm going to change this to, I'm going to click attrition here. So create this column because this column exists, right? So now equals to, I will need to check very well. Attrition is only having two categories, yes or no. So if this is equal to value yes, change it to 1. Just change it to 1. But if it is not, this is just two categories, yes or no. If it is not 1, if it is not yes, it should be 0, then change it to what? 0. So once I'm done with this, I'll just click OK. And the moment I click OK, you would see the count of attrition. Yeah, you would see the count of attrition. So this is it, count of what? Count of attrition. So all the yes have been changed to 1 and all the no has been changed to 0. You can either drag it to where attrition is, or you can leave it here, it's still okay. So once I'm done, I'll just go back to home. Then I will say close and apply. So this step will be closed and applied. So I'll just click on close and apply step. So that would close, and it will take me back to my power Power BI. All right. So that step I just applied now is processing. Now, as we progress in Power BI, where we have to do with more like a kind of relationship or models where you have many data sets, there is a way you can speed up this your refresh, so it will not take much time. As we progress, we'll get to know that. So we want to do for what? For our active employee, right? Those ones who are still working. But we cannot do the active employee first until we calculate our attrition, those who have left. So what I'm going to do now is to create a new card. I'll just create a new card and calculate those who have left first. Then I calculate my active from the total employee, minusing the attrition from it. So I'll just come here and go to create a card. So once I create a card, so this is my card, right? This is my card. So I will just go and click. We created a new column called count of attrition. That's C. This is it, C. So I will just click C, or I will just drag C to fields. So once I drag C to fields, I have it as 0. Now, but if you notice, it's showing me 0. Now, the reason it's showing me 0 is not because it's not correct. It's correct, but because it is in a data type called text. Now, you cannot count text. I mean, you cannot sum text rather. You can't sum text, but you can only count, right? So I'm going to change this text. Now, how do you get to this place? Just double click on that field, double click. So once you double click, this would come out. I'm going to change my data type text. I will change it to an old number. So the moment I do that, this 0 would change. This 0 would change. So now it has not changed. So what will I do if it does not change? I will uncheck this, right? And I will check it back. So I will uncheck this and I'll also check it back. And that would appear. So this is it, 237. So those who have left the company from the total population is 237. Now, I don't need to do all this many formatting that I did for this first one. Now, one of the functionality of Power BI or any of this analytical tool is that you can do one and you can automate others. So how do I do that? I'll just click on this first one, then go to Format Painter, click on Format Painter, and click this one. So once I do that, I have the same format as what is here. Then I will just drag, just take this to this place, resize, then add my title, go to general, then add my title. So I'll just type attrition. So this is my attrition. So let me take it to this place. All right. Okay. Now, so we have gotten our what? Our attrition. Let's get the active employee. Active employee is just the total employee minus those who have left. That's attrition. That's active.
Oh, Wonder,
So if
sorry,
you,
sorry, before you go
all
to
right.
that other point, I dropped the question for you on behalf of the participants. I know they might be interested in having answer to that. So that's what
Okay. What?
your category is more than two. Sorry, it's more than two, not more than one. Like it's not just yes or no or male or female. It can be something like educational qualification when you have like five options, or religion when you have like three, four options. So how
Okay,
do you
all
use
right.
that
So,
column? Just try
okay,
to
how do we do that? All right. We'll
just for you
get
to
to that
demonstrate.
place.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll get to that point when we start doing age band by attrition, where we have like different age groups. So
Okay,
we're going
okay,
to do
okay.
that
Yeah,
using
yeah, it's
conditional
fine.
pronoun.
It's fine.
All right. So now we have this, right? Our attrition. So let us take away attrition from our total employee. That's just simple calculation minus, right? So I'll just create a new measure to carry out that calculation. So to do that, I will just come to this, then create a new measure, then carry out that simple calculation. So this is it. So I'll just call this one active employee, active M. All right, active M. So active M is the sum of total employees it was gotten from employee count, right? So I can say is the sum of the employee count, um, the sum of the employee count, yeah, the sum of the employee count minus that is sum of employee count, which is the total employee, minus the sum of my count of attrition, right? Count of attrition. So I'll just go down to count of attrition. So this is it, right? So let me just, before I click enter, so this is it. Active M, that's active employee, is the sum of my employee count, which gives me the total employee, minus the sum of my count of attrition, which is the attrition value, right? So that will give me the active employee. Once you are done, just press enter and that would calculate it for you. So we have gotten a new calculation, right? That's active M. So active M is going to be created from a card, isn't it? So what I will just do is I can just duplicate this, then change the value, right? So, or I can just create a new card, but because of time, I'll just duplicate this, copy and paste this one. So I have it here. Then I would remove this and click active um, drag active M to fields. Then we have this, right? So we have active. So I'm going to change the title. This is going to be active employee. So how do I change that title? So to change the title, I will just come here and say, go back to click on it. Then you go to your visual. Then you will see the general. Then go to title. I will just say active employee. So active employees, we have the 1,233. So let us take this in the proper number format, right? So I'll just click on it, go back to where I have my field, double click, then add your comma. So once you add your comma, it changes to a proper number format. So we have the 1,233. So I would like to know if we all got the simple calculation I did, the minus. Are we on track?
Please, can you show the formula again?
All right. So let me just double click on this. So I want to also confirm. I should have sent this. I don't know. Are we use this wireframe? I noticed the other time one of us did not really get the design of the wireframe, and I would like us to use the same wireframe so that we can get the same chart. Maybe I will just let me just send it to the Telegram page so you can just quickly import it if you are not using the same wireframe so that our chart is going to be well arranged. So this is the formula I used. Sum of the employee count
Just copy and drop in chat box.
So I believe you are cleared with it, right?
Can you just copy it and drop it in the chat box?
All right.
Thank you.
So I've sent it there. You can just copy and paste. So I'm going to send the wireframe now to the group, so you will get it.
Okay, so while you are doing that, can we quickly have our first brain teaser? While you are dropping that,
All right. So I should stop sharing, right? So you share your screen.
can you share the data set to this data set? Okay, you can also share the data set. That's Google link.
All
Google
right.
link rather, yes. Let me share my screen.
All right.
Okay. Um, so we just the first three answers. You can't change your answer again once you drop it. Just give us your answer. The company has 800 employees. Every month, 50. I know you've had similar question the last time, but it wasn't recorded actually. So the company hires 50 new additions. Oh, sorry, new employees. So after 6 months, how many employees will the company have? Trying to figure this out. Let's see if there's any answer. Okay, don't forget you can't change your answer. Thank you so much. That makes sense. I've gotten one, I've gotten two. Just one or two more persons. Thank you. All right, thank you. So we have the first three answers from some. Okay, what's the answer in the first place? So we can be sure we are doing the same thing. Okay, so we had a similar question the last time. The answer is simply 680. Yeah, it's actually 680. That's good. Okay, so Wanda, you can continue. Thank you.
All right. Of attrition rate is just like what is the ratio of those who have left the company from the entire population. So I'm going to just do a simple calculation here. I'm going to do a simple calculation so that we will just get the concept of that. So, and we're going to take it into percentage, like it's going to be in percentage. So I'm going to share my quick notes so that I can just explain better on the attrition rate. So how do we get our attrition rate? Our attrition rate is, so you can see my notes now. So attrition rate is just like we have a population, right? This is a population, and the total population is 1,470. Now I want to check what is the attrition rate of those who have left the company. Of course, we know that it's 230, is it 37 or so, that has left the company from the entire population. So what is the ratio of 237 to this entire population? You know, this entire population is 100%, right? So what is going to be the ratio of 237 from this entire 100%? Now, if you use your pie chart to do that, it's just like a sector now. Like we're trying to calculate the value of 237 from this entire population. So what I would just do is to say 237 divided by 1,470. Of course, if this is in a sector, it's going to be times what? Times 100, right? So that's being percentage. So we're going to get the actual percentage of those who have left the company from the entire population. So I'll quickly do that now in real calculation using a, using a simple mathematics calculation, right? So let me quickly do that. So I'm going to share I'm going to share my Power BI now so that we can have it. All right. So back to my Power BI. So how do we do that calculation for attrition rate? So I'll just create a new measure. So create a new measure. So once I create a new measure, right, I'll do that calculation. Don't forget the name of the fields for total employee and what? Active employee. For total employee, we used total employee count. Yeah, total employee. We use total employee. Then for active employee, we used active emp. So now what I'm going to use, I'll just call this one rate attrition or attrition rate. The reason why I'm using rate attrition is because in the previous class, I've already used attrition rate, like the name. So we can't have two names, right? Or two names that is having the same, two measure having the same name or two fields having the same name. So I'll just rate attrition, that is the sum of our attrition divided by the sum of our employee count, right? So how do we do that? So I will say sum of my attrition, that's what some of my attrition count, which is this one, right? Which is this one. Or what I think we use count of attrition. It was count of attrition we used. So let me just use count of attrition. So that will be count of attrition. This is it. So the sum of count of attrition divided by the sum of my employee count. This is my employee count. My employee count is this, right? Divided by my employee count. Then now, if I say times 100, in mathematics, if you say times 100 here, that times 100 will only affect the sum of attrition count. The sum of employee count. But unless you wrap everything in a bracket, then you now say times 100. But to avoid all those complications, I will just press enter from here, then go and take it to percentage. Or I can just click percentage here. So once I click percentage, it will automatically calculate this in form of percentage, right? So this will be in form of percentage. And I want it to be in two decimal place. So I'm going to take this to two decimal place. Click this. Click two decimal place. Click again. So we have two decimal place now. So this is in decimal value in form of two decimal place. So I'll just press enter. So that's that. So we've done that. So now let us now create our card. So let me just duplicate this one, Control C, Control V. Then just take it to this place. Then change this to what? Attrition count. So I'll just go and click on that. Attrition rate rather. Attrition rate, right? So this is attrition rate. Or I think I used rate attrition. Yeah, I use that rate attrition. So I'll just take this to my field. So once I do that, I have 0.16. This is supposed to be in percentage, but it's like the percentage is not affected. So I'll just double click on it, then now take it to percentage, click percentage. So once I do that, I will have it in percentage now. All right. So this is it in percentage. So 16.2, I will just then change this thing here, go to my general, go to my call-out value. No, sorry, the title rather. Go to general, then title attrition rate. So we have attrition rate. So I just want to confirm if we get this calculation, or I should go over it again. Should I go over it again, or we are clear?
Can you please put the formula in the chat?
Okay, all right. So let me do that. So just copy this. I'm going to copy this and send it to the chat now. Then, so I've sent it to the chat so you can just try it out. All right, so we've done the total employee, active employee attrition rates. Now, we're not going to stop here, right? We want to calculate the average age of the employee. Now, the reason the average age is very vital is because in one of our charts here, we're going to be doing age band, right, by attrition, age band by attrition. So we need to get the average age of the employees. Of course, we have different age. If you come to this data table view, you will see different age, right? So let us just calculate the average age. Now, there are two ways to do that, right? Two ways. Now, we can either use our Power Query to do that, to just get the average age, or we can use measure using a calculated function, that's dash function, data analysis expression. We can use dash function to calculate that. How do we do that? Average is part of our aggregate function, right? Sum, average, maximum, minimum, and count. These are examples of aggregated functions. So we want to use the average to calculate the average age of our employees. So I'm going to create a new measure now. So I'll just go to this place, then create a new measure. So I'll call it average age. So I'm going to say average age. So average age is using the average function, right? Mathematically, average is the summation of all the population divided by the number of times a value appear, right? So that is the summation of total employee summation of the total age divided by the number of, that's the total employees, right? So the average, but we don't need to do all of those calculations because average has already done that for us. So I'll just click on average, then go down to age, right? Age. So this is age. So this is average age. So average of this age would give me what? So I'm going to create a new card, then just put the average age there. So let me just duplicate this card, or let me use this one. Just Control C, Control V, then take it to this place. Then average age. So this is my average age, right? So I'll just remove this, then take average age to fields. All right. So I have 36.92, but age cannot be in decimals, right? Age is just whole number. So I'll need to take this one whole number. So how do I take this to an whole number? It's simple. Just double click on this average age. Then you would see auto. Change this auto to 0, right? Change it to 0. So once we change it to 0, it will become 37. So it means that it is not in any decimal place. Or I can just click on this decimal number and make it an whole number. It's still the same thing, right? Still the same thing. So this is 37. So I have an average age of what? 37 from the entire population. So that's fine. So we are done with average age. So we have two more to go to complete our cards. So what are the two more? Let's check from our first page. We have job roles and total monthly income. So how do we calculate the job roles? Now, why is job roles important? Is because, of course, we want to know how many role is given to the employees, right? So if you come to this place, you see different job roles, right? So for each of the job role given to the employee, we want to know, because we're going to also calculate as we progress, we also calculate the satisfactory rating of each of these job roles for the employees. So this job role is just to tell us, okay, fine, we have a total job role of this. So that means we were able to measure attrition from this total number of job roles that is in the company, right? So now, so how do we get the total number of job roles? Now we're going to be using a function, because if you look at this job role here, you will see laboratory technician appearing many times and research scientist appearing many times. Now, in our normal Excel, we are going to use a function on normal Excel called what? We can't use count here, because if we use count, count will give us the same value as the total number of employees. So we're going to be using distinct count in Power BI, but in Excel, we just count, then remove duplicates. Just get everything, then remove duplicate. But we're not doing that here. So we'll just use a function called distinct count in Power BI. So how do we use distinct count here? Just like the normal sum, normal count, normal average. That is how the distinct count works. But the distinct count, we remove all the duplicates and fetched out unique records, right? Unique records. So I'll just create a new measure, and I will call it job roles. Job roles, count of job roles. So I'll just call it count of job roles, right? Count of job roles. So I'm going to use a function called distinct count. So distinct count. So distinct count based on what? Based on the job role. Based on the job role. So based on this job role, get me only distinct job role, right? So at the end of it, I'll just press enter. Distinct count of the job role. So once I do that, fine, I have my values, right? So I'll just copy this and paste this, then take it to this place. Oh, I did not even change this one. Let me quickly change it to um to average age. All right. So let me change this one now to what? Job roles, right? Job roles. So this is job roles, right? I will just remove this one, then just drag. Normally, you can do a normal click, but I don't know why my click is not functioning. I'll just drag this to this place, and I have what? 9. So there are 9 job roles, right? So I'll just go to my title, then change this to job roles or job role. Yeah, job role. So this is 9 words, 9 job roles. So now there is always a way to validate if you are correct. Always a way to do that, right? If you go back to your job roles, your job role field, this is job role field, right? If you click this button here, this is your filter button, just click on it. You would notice that you can just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You could see there are what? 9 job roles. So there's always a way to validate your results if you are correct or not. And there is also another factor which I will not be talking about now. After we have gained mastery in some of these calculations, we'll just use that. That's using AI too to calculate some of these your calculations. AI can also do that for you in Power BI, but I won't do that now. So we have 9 job roles, average age of 37, attrition rate of 16.12%, attrition of 237, active employee of 1,233, and total employees of 1,400 and 70. Now, the last one, the monthly income. So we need to calculate the monthly income, total monthly income, total monthly income. So now, how do we get the total monthly income? Now, this is it. There are two things we can do here. We can either calculate the total monthly income based on attrition, or the total monthly income based on active employees, or we can calculate the total monthly income of all the population, like of all the employees. But if we're going to be using any of those filters, we're going to be using a function called calculate, which I want to make all our dash function today to be basic. I won't want to go to that aspect. So I'll just do the total total monthly income for all the employees, not just based on attrition or based on active employee today. So let us calculate the total monthly income of all the employee. Now, where can we get that from? Let's go to our table view. So if you go to your table view, scroll carefully, you will see a place called what? Monthly income. Now, this is it. Now, hope you know that each of these role represents individual employee, right? That was employed in this company. Now, that means this guy, monthly income is this. This other guy, monthly income is this. So at the end of the day, we want to calculate all the total monthly income that was paid to all the employees. That is what we want to do in this place. So I'll just use my sum to calculate everything. Now, so what I will just do here is to use the normal sum function to calculate this normal sum function, which is very simple and basic. So I want to know, are we following? Like, is there any place you missed in between that you want me to quickly touch before we progress? So Bisola, is there any place you miss out that you like some of these things that we have done, right? We want to still create some. Now, this place is for visualizing, like creating. Of course, there are different age, right? We want to check for the average, the age band by attrition. They want to also check for the gender age band by attrition. Then we also do some calculation on job role by job satisfactory rating. So some of these things are things we're going to visualize in this our dashboard, right? I remember in the last class, that's on Tuesday, I showed you all an Excel chart that I worked on. So we're just trying to imitate that one. Let me still see if I can still see it. Just a moment. Then if I'm able to copy, I would go back to it. So what we want to do now basically is to check for the gender age wise by attrition, and also check for the gender wise attrition, and also check for attrition by age group. So I'll be doing attrition by age group, right? Attrition by age, that is um, age group by attrition, age group wise attrition. So how do I get to do that? Now, if you come to your table format, let me share my
You're not showing
screen.
your screen. Okay.
All right, can you see my screen now? Okay, so if you come to this table format, right, now you would see age, right? Age and but they're in different age. Now the challenge is this: how do we know? Okay, fine. From this age range, we want to know which particular age range do we have more employees leaving the company, right? So that we can be able to check, okay, do we have people from the younger age, or we have people from the older age leaving the company? You get, so how do we get the age range? That is very simple. So we're going to still be using this conditional column this time, conditional column, right? So I'm going to go back to my home, then go back to this place you see transform data. So I'm going to click on transform data. So once I transform data, it will open up Power Query for me. Power Query for me. All right, so it will open up my Power Query for me. So in this my Power Query, we're going to create a new column, right, from our age column. So I'll do the same process, add column, just like what the question that was asked initially. Now, what if we have many categories, like more than one category, for example? So how do we do that? Now we have different age, right? So we're going to create this in groups. You understand? So let me just show you the format of the groups I want to use for that. So the format of the group I'm going to be using for that, I'm going to quickly do that. So I'm going to open my explanatory notes now so that we can easily get the format of age group I'm going to be using for that analysis. All right. So let me share I'm going to share another, just a moment. All right. So, okay. So now we are here, right? So I want to calculate age groups, right? I want to know how many employees have left in these different age groups. So the first I'm going to do is this. Now, it is always good for you to know your maximum age, right? Know your minimum age, right? Now we have the maximum and the minimum, right? So now let's assume the minimum age is 18, for example, and the maximum age is 60, right? We can now create different groups like within this range, right? So I can say any age that is less than 30, yeah, less than 30 should be below 30, right? Any age that is less than 30 should be below 30. Now I can progress by saying, get me age within 31 to 40. That's another age group, right? So any age that is from 31 to 40 should be another age group. Now get me another age group from 41 to 50, right? Then get me an age group from 51 to 60. That is if we have the difference, if we know our maximum and minimum. Now, but let's assume our maximum age is 65, right? Something like that. Or it's like 70 or 70 something. It depends. But I think the normal age for employees is 60, right? So we can just say above 60. So if we have something that is above 60, we can just, okay, above 60. Now we are creating how many conditions now? So we are creating these conditions, but we are stopping at 60. So let us just work with 60. So how many conditions are we creating? We are creating, this is first condition, the second condition, the third condition, and the last condition. That's 4 in total. So age below 30, 31 to 40, 41 to 50, 51 to 60, and above 60. Now, how do you get to maximum age? It's simple, right? It's very simple. So to get to maximum age, you can either get it directly from your Power Query, or you can get it from your normal calculated function, right? Calculated, that's dash, using the formula called max, M-A-X. I'm not going to do that. It's something you can do. So MAX will calculate the max, will get to the maximum age. Then you can use mean for the minimum. That's MIN for the minimum. You get. So now, from our data set, I've already checked on this, work on this data set before. Our minimum age is 18. Our maximum age is 60, right? So how do we now prepare this in form of a conditional column using this age group? So I will now come back to my calculation. All right, so back to my Power Query. So I'm going to share my Power Query window now. So back to my Power Query, right? So back to my Power Query. So we want to do conditional column based on age from our different age groups, right? So I'm going to come to this conditional column. Then when you click on conditional column, there's a pop-up, right? There's a pop-up. So let me check. Hope you can see that pop-up. Hope you can see the pop-up, right? Okay. So now add conditional column. So I'm going to add a new column and I'll call it, I'm going to call it age band. Age, I can say age band, I can say age class. Okay, let me say age class. So age class in respect to what column? Age column. Now, if my age is either if it is less than, you know, I'm working with now below 30, right? If it is less than what? 30. If it is less than 30, right? If my age is less than 30, what should be the output? Tell me below 30. Now, that is that. Now, but let's say we have other, right? We are not ending here. It is not else and it is not if and else. If and else is just to test if a condition is true, if one condition is true, right? But in this case, we are testing for multiple conditions. Now, in Excel, there is something called count ifs, some ifs, right? That's multiple condition. That's the S, the ifs. Now, the same thing here. We're going to be using the multiple condition. So I'm going to just click on add clause. So add another condition. So another condition is now created. Now, if this is not this, right? Else if age is now the next one is to check for if it is 31 to 40, right? That should be if it is less than or equal to 40. That's 31 to 40. So this is going to be what? If it is less than or equal to what? 40. Now give me 31 to 40. Now add a new clause based on age. If my age is less than or if it is equal to 50, then tell me I am within 41 to 50. Now, if it is not any of this, then it should be this. Then it should be what? 51 to 60. So if it is not below 30, if it is not 31 to 40, if it is not 41 to 50, then it should be 51 to 60. Like I said, you need to check the max and the minimum age first, right? So I leave that for you to do. You get. So now, how do you when we are done, just click on OK, right? Click on OK. So once you click on OK, you would now see it here, right? So we have our what? 41 to 50. Let's go and let's drag this column. Let's drag it to where the age is. It's a bit slow. I'm going to still drag it just a moment. Age class, drag it. I think it's faster now. Okay. So to where my age is, right? So, okay, so this is where the age is. So I'm going to just drop it here. All right. So we have age class, right? So you can see this is 41, right? It's telling me 41 to 50. 49 is within 41 to 50. Now 37 is within 31 to 40. 27 is below 30. You could see. So you could see the precision, the accuracy, right? So once we are done, what do we do next? Close and apply. Go back home, click on home, then you go to close and apply. So I want to know if Mr. Muyiwa is following me. Is Mr. Muyiwa following me?
I'm following, but I missed actually I got stuck when we got to add new column from that point.
Okay, you got stuck there, right? Should we do it
Like
again?
when you had another clause, right? When you said
yes,
as if so
add clause, then age. After below 30, you do 31 to 40. So if it is less than or equal to 40, just use this. Let me just show you this quick. Or maybe I should just open it up again for the last time so we can all follow.
Sorry,
So
please,
let me
can
just
you
open, yeah,
can you
for
help
the
with
last time.
The only thing I missed was just how you added another column, like the hard column.
All right, so I will just open it for the last time so that we can just grab that place, then we'll continue again. All right, so let's go to this the other time we were told that there are steps, right? We did some steps, isn't it? So the last step we did was to reorder our column where I dragged where that one is to close to this age. So before that step, we added a new conditional column. So I'll just double click this. So it will open up okay, I think it should be this one. Let me click on this one. Okay, I think it's okay. This is it. All right. So that's it. So that's just it. Age is less than 30, below 30, less than or equal to 40, 31 to 40. Age is less than or equal to 50. That's what, 41 to 50. Or that's else, 51 to 60. So you can quickly do that. Then